Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. Normally when we start the podcast, it's just Karak and I in a call together on Skype, and when I wear ridiculous outfits like these, I like to surprise him and get his reaction on film, so what you're about to see right now is Karak's reaction. Enjoy. Alright, yep, just one sec, gotta flip on the webcam. What's going on?
Oh, Jesus Christ, man. I was wondering when you said adjust something for my brain. I was like, is there something that I'm not aware of? But that's awesome. It's a Star Wars business suit?
Hell yeah.
Where in the fuck did you get that? That is awesome.
I found it on Macy's. It's a holiday party tonight, baby.
Oh, yeah, gotcha.
Oh,
very cool. That's insane. It's got like, I'm seeing Death Star, Darth Vader.
Dude, it's a legit suit. It's comfy, too. No shit. What's going on, man?
Isn't that awesome?
Salutations, everybody. It is Matty here today with episode 139 of the H.A.M Radio Podcast.
And it is me, the LoneVaultWanderer.
And it's me, Karak, with ACG.
What a special episode this is going to be. Because my lovely desktop is still currently biting the dust, there is no video for this episode, so no one except you lovely hosts can see the jacket I am wearing.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Patrons will be getting an extra little bit because I'm doing a video on this. But anyway, we have more important things to tend to. Lone, would you just like to take it away here for us?
Well,
I want to take your moment here. So
no, it's all right.
Have at it.
On Twitter the other day, I uploaded a photo to indicate that Mama Lone and I got engaged. She said yes, and thank you. And it's been a crazy couple of days. So I won't go into the full story of how it happened, but we had talked about me proposing, but she didn't really know that it was going to happen on Christmas Day, because that's when it was. Gotcha. And I pretty much played on and said, it's going to take them 6 to 8 weeks to get the ring, which it did take him that long, but she didn't know how early I went. So I was going to get it before Christmas, and then on the day, she even was kind of a bit upset that I wasn't going to be able to do it. So she do you guys have cheesels in America? There's yellow chips with they're in a circle, and you can put them on your finger. They're kind of like a ring. Anyway,
never even heard of them.
Well, they're kind of like, do you have burger rings? They're kind of the equivalent. You don't have burger rings either. It's insane. So they're kind of like chips or crisps or whatever that you can put on your finger, and they look like a ring. So she kind of brought those home and said, as fun, we can't have the actual ring, so we'll just do this. So as a joke, I pretended to propose to her with the chip. And then it was funny and all of that. And then I said, all right, well, how about for real now? Then I pulled out the actual ring. And she was like, are you serious? She had no idea.
Shit.
Because I actually had, the full big box and everything. And
love it.
Yeah. She had no idea. And I'm not going to lie, I shed a bit of a tear while doing it. But I asked if she wanted to marry me. And she said yes. So we are now engaged. And it's been insane. Yeah.
Congrats.
That tweet. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. It's been a crazy week, and I don't even know what my mind is going through at the moment. So, yeah. I can't even talk.
No, that's awesome. What's interesting is, I guess this is kind of what happens with social media, is you see so many big, in public proposals. It sounds like you did this in your own house.
So it was Christmas Day, home-cooked meal. I cooked and I uploaded the ham too. It was a nice shoulder ham, or a picnic ham, I think you guys call it. And it was with a maple glaze and red vinegar. It was really nice. So I cooked that. Turned out really good, thankfully. And we just got done eating that, and then put some nice music on, and that's when I did it. And it was a complete surprise to her, which I was really, really wanting. Because she didn't know. She thought it was going to be sometime in January or whatever. So I caught her off guard.
MC Hammer, Can't Touch This, for the music that you had on. Dude, you should have just fucked with her. Just the craziest stuff.
It's what's this music? But it was awesome. And now we're an engaged couple and spending New Year's together, going to a nice restaurant and seeing the fireworks. So it should be good.
Amazing, man. Congratulations.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you, guys. And thank you for letting me talk.
No, you don't have to thank me for that. Glad to be a part of this journey. Sadly, ladies and gentlemen, that leaves me on the sidelines. I don't think we can make any more Matty Lone fan fiction. So Sadly, we'll have to retire that aspect of the podcast, but it's okay. It's fine.
We'll be fine, you know.
It's all right.
It'll probably never end. Let's be real.
Anyway, now on to other exciting things. What we are doing this week, because it is that time of the year, is there's not a lot of gaming news. Really, discussions are free-formed where it's based off the conversation we're having together. So we thought, let's do an episode like we haven't done in a while, which is get your questions off of Twitter and answer them. So we have a handful written down now. If we have some time at the end, we'll add more of yours. And we encourage you to continuously ask questions, because that's something that, honestly, there's no other way to put it than we got so accustomed to our general conversation podcast that we kind of just stopped doing them at the end of our shows. So feel free to continue asking them. Use the hashtag Ham Radio Time. We still do check it. And now let's get into our first question. It comes from Sounds German. He says, do you have any artists who you wish would make a game soundtrack?
It's a great question.
I have an answer too, if you want to go ahead.
No, for me it would be really easily. I mean, my taste in music is mostly like R&B and hip hop. So if I was going to pick, it'll just be my favorite artist from there. Maybe like Ty Dolla $ign's one of my favorite R&B artists right now. And it'll probably be like a GTA game. I mean, they have all those songs in there anyway. So mine's a boring answer, but that's what I'd say.
My answer, I actually just went and saw them in, I guess you could say concert, but they kind of treat it like a show. Every Christmas Eve, my family and I, we watch the Trans-Siberian Orchestra on TV. It's like just a tradition. And this year, my mom, my brother, and I, we surprised my dad with tickets to the show. Like, that's always been his thing. He's the one who introduced us to this whole thing. And so it's been a tradition since then. When we saw them live, I mean, they played the Ghost of Christmas Eve, which is all their Christmas songs. But after that, they started doing their own renditions of orchestraic music. And it was epic. And the first thing I thought in my head was like, this would be awesome Final Fantasy boss music or something along those lines. Like, they kill it. It was a really good show, mind you, but the music part of things, that would be my answers. I'd love to see Trans-Siberian Orchestra try to do a game soundtrack and like one of those more epic, maybe like God of War, something along those lines, because they do some really crazy stuff. Mm-hmm. And that leaves us with Karak.
John Carpenter, and he's already a musician. I think he's got a couple tracks on some games, but a horror game. I think he loves games so much. I'm actually surprised no developers sort of contacted him just for name sake, especially a smaller dev and with the horror games that are out. But his stuff is fantastic, and he's actually quite talented. He wrote all the music for all of his movies, so he's the guy singing and Big Trouble in Big Trouble in Little China.
It's a great movie, Karak.
Yeah,
it's a classic.
Yeah. He's freakishly talented, and I would like to see him do something for sure.
Interesting. Has he done any other movies? Because I will admit I am not familiar with that one.
I mean, well, he did The Thing, and he wasn't really involved in the Thing remake, but his was one of the originals, and then The Fog, and then the Fog remake. And his later stuff hasn't been the greatest. He hasn't adjusted to the type of horror that I think we've adjusted to, if that makes sense. But his classic stuff, if you go back and look, I would almost guarantee that when you start looking at his name, you'll be like, They Live, all of these movies, Rowdy Piper, and David, who's the guy who plays Commander Shepard's leader in Mass Effect, David Keith, are in that. And you'll most likely find Escape from L.A., Escape from New York. He did all of that. He was married to Adrienne Barbeau at the time, and so the main chick that was in those movies. But he super talented.
He hasn't made a movie in 8 years, it
recently.
seems. So the last film was The Ward, and now in 2018 he's releasing Halloween. So
yeah, he took back Halloween because he created Halloween too.
Nice
as well. I would love to
anytime
see
people talk about movies around me, dude, it's just like a stark reminder.
I know.
So uninformed.
I like Marvel movies. What do you like?
Yeah, like that's exactly. Yep, I am that guy. I'm like, I watched Marvel and a couple of really popular flicks. That's it.
Yep.
I can't really contribute here.
You know what it is? It's because when I'm watching like a movie, I'm thinking I could be playing a game right now. I could be gaming.
Dude. Yep. Same here. Every
More
time.
important to me.
Same thing with TV. It's like, yeah, games are like really long. This show, you know, I really need to prioritize my time here, and so I'll go back to the game, or I'll play the game while the show's on and forget about the show in the background.
Yeah, I have a few TV series that I like to watch. Right now, girlfriend and I are watching Vikings. I keep talking about it. It's still fucking really, really good. Obviously, there are a few movies coming out. We got Black Panther coming out soon. I think Jumanji apparently is really good. So, but yeah, like the top grossing box office films, like those are the only ones that I see. It's the only ones that I care
for. Yeah. Because I have like a friend, Ivan, who he's like a big movie junkie. He'll watch anything. So like that's his forte. So when he listens to me critique movies, he just loses his mind because he's like, God, bro, you know nothing.
Well, it would
but
be
it's the
like,
same thing with games with him. I'm just like, Ivan, shut the fuck up.
What do you know about Persona?
I'm like,
exactly. That's a real nerd conversation right there. Oh, God. That's awesome.
Fucking
Next
nerds.
question comes from Minari Carter. I want to apologize, by the way, if I mispronounce any names, because some of your handles
are weird as fuck.
You know, yeah, it's the nicest way to put it, right? Not this one specifically, but we'll get to some. He asks, he or she, see, that's the thing, I also can't tell if he or she, they ask, what are your fave locales / settings in video games, i.e. winter levels, space, lava, etc.? So where do you like to go in your games? What gets you the most visually intrigued?
Karak, you go first this time.
If the major question is environment, then it would be snow. But if it's specific, it would be Manan on KOTOR 1.
Okay.
So
we'll do that for each of our answers.
The water planet. It's magnificent. Like, it's legitimate. I've done videos on just the way the map was built. It's just an incredible moment in a game. But when it comes to overall, it would be snow for me. I've always, it doesn't matter what game. I've always been attracted to that.
I mean,
so like Horizon Zero Dawn, you probably
I adored. Yeah, and I'll sit there and stare at the snow for like half an hour. I'll just be like, oh, this is awesome.
Well, because what's fascinating, especially in like Horizon, is I think this is only in its expansion, Frozen Wilds, but
it is
when you're like walking through the snow, you'll actually see like a path carved out, and there'll be snow underneath too, like that flattens out. It's a real interesting level of detail for snow in a video game,
and it allows for deformation from enemies, so you can track enemies without visuals just by going by footsteps, and it also will darken like ice. When you walk across ice, you can see where your footstep condenses the ice and causes it to become milky versus clear. It does so many things that when you play it, that expansion in particular, you'll just be like, there is a lot of shit going on when it comes to particle effects and stuff. But yeah, snow for me. I love it.
All right.
Cool. Lone?
I'll just say at the start, I hate water levels. It doesn't matter what game it is. Water levels are just shit. And it started with Ocarina of Time's Water Temple, and it just went on from there. Although I will say Super Mario Odyssey does water levels really well. But I love any time a game is just like out in the open with a lush forest, just above ground, and there's a lot of color. That's what I really like. I love just, and I've mentioned this with Metro. I think AC Origins does it very well. Anytime you're above ground and there's tons of color, there's nice water, there's the sun beaming in, there's no clouds, it's not raining or anything like that. When you can see the true vibrance of the game, I'm always in love with those kinds of scenes. And that's not specific. That can be, you know, a really dense forest, or it could be kind of like an open area. I mean, like, have you played AC Origins and thought, wow, that fucking pyramid looks really beautiful. I just want to go over there. Or just like sat by the water and saw all like the hippos and the crocodiles just moving around. It's just awesome. So that's a really broad answer, I'll say, but that's what I really like. Although, and then this is going to kind of flip this on its head, my favorite setting is probably Rapture from BioShock. And that's the complete opposite. Yeah. It's just that it's because it's such a unique setting, and I never really personally had played anything like that beforehand. And to be honest, moving from BioShock, there's not been anything like that really. Just kind of like this isolated area. But even then, even in Rapture, because I'm playing it now for a series, you head to a level like Arcadia, it's fucking gorgeous. You know, you've got all the trees and the bushes and the lights coming down and the streams and the waterfalls inside this underwater city. It's just, so that's my favorite, even though it's completely different to what I just said. But I
have a similar structured answer, because we're also doing least favorite. For me, it's sand, desert areas. I mean, and this is gonna sound really like a bad Fallout fan kind of answer, but that's why I initially did not like Fallout New Vegas when I first started playing. Whenever it released, I think 2010 is when it came out. Mind you, at that point, I wouldn't have considered myself a big Fallout fan at that point. I just really liked Fallout 3. But New Vegas, many other games, really, I just could not get into because it was just desert. Nowadays, it's not a problem because we'll see a game, like you brought up, AC Origins, where there is a lot of desert. I think I'm also a lot more experienced in games where I can just be like, okay, it's a desert. I'm not going crazy over it, but I don't really have to. But also because games are so big, where a setting like AC Origins, you see different locales in that game world itself, where one area looks entirely different from another, and it's really rewarding to explore. We're going back to those sand areas, those deserty areas are actually kind of refreshing. So in a way, that dislike has developed, and it doesn't play as big of a factor into how I feel about games as it did when I was like, 16 or something like that. So, I'd say I'm a better critic now. But as for something I always like in games, it's always been rain. And that's
really
I'm weird where, I'm weird in general where if I wake up and it's raining outside, like I feel money right off the bat.
Oh, so do I. I know.
I don't know.
That's true.
You and I, man. Yep.
I don't know what it is. It's so. I think it just plays into like just being a melancholy, being kind of like a more. I wouldn't say shut in, but more of a. What's the word I'm looking for? Introvert. There we go. Then rather than an extrovert, and so I think that's part of the reason why. But in game, like Persona 4, when certain days it rains and there's less people on the street, you have your umbrella, the music's completely shut off because all you can hear is the rain. I don't know. I've always enjoyed that. Also, levels like I know this is going to be the craziest game to bring it up in, but it's just coming to mind. Mass Effect Andromeda had a level or a planet that was a lush kind of purple-blue forest. It was for that new race that they brought in. I forgot exactly what they were called, but that level in particular stood out because it was also raining there. So that was the planet I absolutely explored the most and did everything I possibly could because I was so intrigued to learn more about this planet that had something I had liked. In the terms of setting, I love Fallout settings. I was actually talking to my grandma about this because my mom, as a joke, got me Fallout Monopoly for Christmas. And my grandma was like, well, you talk about Fallout on your YouTube channel a lot. Like, what is Fallout? And I was like, she's like, why do people like it so much? And I'm like, I can't really speak for everyone, but for me, it's because I love seeing, like, I've been to Boston a bunch of times. So it was really cool to go there, then see it in Fallout 4 and see what is transformed, what Bethesda has, like, in their minds, moved forward. Like, okay, it's been 200 years. Let's see what's happened here, here, and here. What's been destroyed? What has been left untouched? So that's why I've loved Fallout settings. Loved.
Yeah.
And it's strange because, like Lone, I love color. And, for example, Fallout 3 is almost devoid of any color. Same thing with Vanilla New Vegas, but those are the settings I love to explore the most.
Dude, that's why when I play Fallout 3 in New Vegas, I will go for those. They're not A and Bs. They're the kind of... You know how Fallout 3 has the green tint and then New Vegas has the orange tint? I'll get rid of that shit. Like, I can't remember what the mod is called.
I think Fallout is for the green tint.
That's right, yeah. So you get rid of that, and then it's weird. For Fallout, I increase the saturation because I just like the colors. And again, like when we played originally Fallout on the 360 or whatever it was, it's just fucking green and brown. Like, that's all it is.
Ugh. It's ugly.
Have you ever tried to go back and play 360 Fallout 3? It's just fucking awful.
Here's the thing, dude. I have not touched Fallout 3 since... I have a video on my channel. I literally say there, I said, I'll probably come back to this one day, but it's going to be a while. It was the week before Fallout 4 came out. I got the Platinum Trophy for Fallout 3. I said, this is kind of my send-off to the game. I'll come back sometime for memories, but I have not, and I'm kind of afraid to do so, because I know it doesn't look good.
But on the PC, it looks okay. So long as you have the high resolution, you don't even need mods.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, the thing is with Fallout 3, that's one game, And I'd love the same for New Vegas, but Fallout 3 needs to be, like, updated or re-released, because on PC, it just doesn't work. Like, everyone's got their own problem with Fallout 3, because it was built for, like, a much older version of Windows. Windows has moved on. It would just be great if Bethesda re-released that game somehow.
I'll say, I recently just reinstalled Fallout 3 on my Windows 10 PC and a new PC. When you install it, it's like, we have to download this new, well, not new, but this .NET Framework 3.0. I'm like, what the fuck is this? So it downloads that automatically. I'm like, okay, that didn't make it work. And then you have to install an old version of Games for Windows Live to make Fallout 3 not crash after the options screen. Exactly. And now it runs fine for me. And then I'm like, well, I don't want this old .NET framework, so I got rid of that, and the game still works fine. It's just a weird thing. And it's the same issues I've been having with LA Noire on my PC. I could never get it to work properly.
Yeah. Just that's why some people will go like PC Master Race. I totally agree that I think PC is the best place to game. It's just such a pain. Exactly, because like my PC biting the dust. A lot of people are asking me about my KOTOR long play. Where is it? Because I've been getting tweets like, especially this week, and I think it's because there's been so much Star Wars, and I'm like, my PC bit the dust. I lost my save file. That was like 20 hours of the game I completely lost, along with a ton of other save files on my computer. Like, it's really deflating, and it's like, that's why I haven't gotten around to it. It's like, I'm going to wait for a day I wake up and go, okay, today's the day I reinstall every fucking program and game I need for YouTube. Because right now, my laptop, that's why I bought a laptop for YouTube, because I needed backup for when shit like this happens, because it sucks the wind right out of you. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's why I game on consoles, though. I know it's an inferior way for certain ways to game, but when I sit down to game, I want to put the disc in and have it work. Not that consoles don't have their respective technical issues, but compared to like the 360 Ring of Death, Red Ring of Death days, I think for now consoles are functioning just fine.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I'll tell a funny story. So I know someone that was involved in a 360 Red Ring of Days. A Red Ring Death of Days. What the fuck? I'm just stumbling right now. Anyways, so yeah, he was directly involved in it, and he was telling me stories. We were in this random warehouse, and he's like, when I was working with Xbox, there were like just stacks high of dead 360s in this fucking massive warehouse because people kept returning them, and we kept having issues with it. I'm thinking, what a terrible time to be working at that company, because it's not your fault. It's literally people like we're in Australia, for instance. It's not their fault. It was back down to the manufacturing. So, yeah, crazy.
Yeah, man. Well, regardless, those are our favorite places to go in video games. And now it's time for a question from Weeaboofu. I think that's how you say it. Because I get it. It's like Weeaboo, but Bufu is a Frost attack in Persona and Shin Megami Tensei series. Anyway.
Nerd!
You like how I just had to break down his name there? Like, I'm so fucking extra.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Go ahead.
What do you expect of Nintendo in the upcoming years, given that they earned a great success this year? Also, where is Virtual Console?
I would love to. Karak, you go. I've been talking too much, I've noticed.
I mean, I think Virtual Console, I don't think Nintendo gives a shit. So I think Virtual Console is literally them not caring to put the resources into it. And when it comes to what they'll do, I don't even want to guess, because I guessed a bunch of shit was completely wrong. And the first time. And like, I enjoy the Switch. One of my favorite games of all time is on the Switch. There's great titles on the Switch. But at the same time, I don't understand the Switch. There's a ton of problems with it too. So I wouldn't even be able to tell you where they go. I mean, I would love to say there's going to be a smaller dock and or a better dock, and it's going to up res, but word on that is that's not possible. I would love to say the battery is going to magically be better. They already said they're removing the idea to do 64 gigabyte cards until 2019 now, which means more downloading for folks.
Yeah.
So Nintendo just doesn't react like any other company. They just don't. They don't react. They just sort of randomly do shit, and what sticks, they go with. It's very odd. Very odd.
Well,
when I
go on, Matty. I've talked too much.
Okay. No. When I look at Nintendo, I think for like up next year, like I think they're going to. Game-wise, I think they're okay. They showed that this year. I was wrong about that. And next year, I don't think it's going to be any different. When it comes to decisions they make, I think they're going to catch a little bit more flack, because I'm pretty sure next year is when they start making people pay for online, and that's going to highlight the really, like, as if it's not already a big problem, the chat system. You know, people don't want to pay for a crappy party chat system like that. That's 40 wires, confusing. It looks like Nintendo doesn't even know what to do with it. What else is there that they're doing next year? I think that's the only problem I can think of immediately where I think they're going to catch some flack. Will it impact console sales? I don't think so. I think most people buying a Switch are, you know, because they only sell single player games or party games where people are either in the same room or playing by themselves. I don't think it's going to have a heavy impact, and I think that is why Nintendo doesn't care. As for Virtual Console, same thing as Karak said. I don't know, because it seems like they just don't care. I'd love for them to bring back like the Metroid, because they're doing Metroid Prime 4, and there are plenty of Metroid fans like myself who have not played Metroid Prime since the first one, and I would love to go on my Switch and fire up all the other ones, and sadly, I cannot. So that's something I'd love for them to get rolling with the GameCube games, but I just don't see it happening because they have not shown any care for it.
Yeah, again, it's tough. I feel like if I make a bunch of predictions now, that half of them will be wrong. So bookmark this fucking podcast.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of the online system, when they do announce that they're going to start charging for it, they're going to release or say that they're going to have a bunch of features to try and at least sell it. I don't think, and I could be wrong, I don't think that they're going to announce that this system is now paid for and have it be in the exact same state. I think they'll say, look, now it's paid for. Now you can talk to people in parties. Now, hopefully, you know, Bluetooth headphones work with like inbuilt microphones or whatever it is. I mean, the Switch does have the capability. It has Bluetooth in there, so you could easily have, like, I got a Bose wireless headphones. I could easily have that and actually talk to people and chat because it has an inbuilt microphone. Hopefully, one day that happens. I don't know, but in terms of just like this future of the Switch, I think they'll do exactly what PlayStation and Xbox did and have a different Switch version, one that's maybe not smaller because they want to keep the screen the same size, but maybe it's a smaller dock, maybe it's a bit more powerful, maybe it has a better battery. You know, maybe in terms of power, it can actually do proper 1080p all the time. Because like I'm playing LA Noire right now on my Switch, and the shadows are awful. Absolutely, and I'm playing it and I'm enjoying it. Right, don't get me wrong. But like the graphics and the shadows on that game, it's just they look terrible. So I think they will release a more powerful Switch sometime in the future, and it might look a little bit different. And maybe the dock comes into it in terms of being able to help the graphics. And in terms of Virtual Console, man, I don't know, because I thought that was going to be like a surefire release within six months of the Switch coming out, and it hasn't happened. Maybe they're saving it for a Nintendo Direct near E3 time. Because they have to announce something. And the thing that I'm worried about is that this year we've had Super Mario Odyssey, Rabbids, Zelda, like big games, and also a lot of third-party publishers that haven't released on Nintendo consoles for ages released their first titles on the Switch this year. And that's been great for the first year. But what happens next year? Because we're not getting that Pokemon RPG. That's probably 2019, maybe even 2020. We don't know. Like, what's...
I don't want to wait that long.
No, I don't either. But what's like Nintendo's big releases for next year? Maybe a Kirby.
I mean, it's not for everyone, but Bayonetta is the first one that.
But
comes
even
to my
then, that's
mind.
not a traditional Nintendo IP. Like
I love Bayonetta, and it deserves so much more popularity. I think. I mean, it is popular, but it's so good. I mean, that will be exclusive, and they're bringing 1 and 2 to the Switch, so hopefully more people get into it.
I just think that they're saving Virtual Console for a time where they don't have big releases. And releasing Virtual Console this year in the midst of their big releases, because they have had a few this year, it probably just would have gotten lost in the shuffle. But if it's next year and it's a time where they don't have that many big releases, then it might be something to fill the void. Because absolutely it'll fill the void.
Well, yeah, think of it this way. I mean, I'm sure the same year that Pokemon RPG launches, I'm sure that'll be the same year Metroid launches, and people look at that year and go, "Oh, it's a big year for Nintendo right off the bat." Right? That's a very good point. Do we need Virtual Console at that point? No. So maybe they are keeping the cards close to their chest here, where, you know, if they have a year with just Bayonetta, maybe a Smash port finally. Which is something that people have been requesting for a while. Or a new Smash game would be even crazier. I thought that this last one was the final Smash game, but I haven't done a lot of research on it. But like you said, yeah, they brought their big guns out for the first year. They brought the Super Marios, they brought Zelda, where it's definitely going to be a while before we see either of those. Mm-hmm. So I agree that maybe they are just waiting on Virtual Console for a year like next year, where right now we don't see much. I mean, is Kirby like really popular? I don't.
It's not as popular, but it's still a pretty popular IP. Like I see IPs like a standalone Yoshi game, a standalone DK game, a standalone Kirby game.
Yeah,
that's one. Donkey Kong. I'm sure that's something.
Oh, dude, have they had a Donkey Kong Country on for Switch? That'd be fucking amazing.
Yeah, I mean, they own plenty of IP. Like they just did a Fire Emblem Warriors game in October, but it would be interesting if they did like a full-on Fire Emblem game. Like they have a lot of side series that have a lot of popularity that deserve mainline launches on the Switch that I don't think people are thinking of. Luigi's Mansion. I'd love to see it on the Switch.
That'd be awesome.
So there are a lot of opportunities. Pokemon Stadium's one. They don't have to just do a Pokemon RPG. Pokemon Stadium is another series that I wish Nintendo would bring back. So it's there. It's a matter of if they're working on it or not. I'd say you hit the nail on the head, though, Lone, and if anything, Donkey Kong.
Yeah. I think Donkey Kong would be good. I'm trying to look at like old 64 games that I played and what would be really, really good. Like apparently the next Zelda game is like development has started now, but that's like 4 years away. So who the fuck knows when that comes? But yeah, like Perfect Dark is rare. That sucks. That was such a good game. They would have a new Mario Party game. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, that's
I reckon. Mario Tennis. There's so many Mario games that they could do, really. But yeah. Star Wars Shadow of the Empire.
I wish. Don't remind me, man. We haven't had a good Star Wars game in fucking forever. Actually, Battlefront 2 is like a bigger stab to the heart than the first one because it is like there's so many things about it that make it a good game, and then just so much shit happen. All right, I'm not gonna get on that.
Old Matty.
Let's stop right there and move on to the next question from Mad220023. What food have you wanted to try in real life that was in a game?
Oh man, I'm just thinking about anime food.
Yep.
Isn't that like every time food comes up, I'm always like, yeah. Have you seen anime food? I'll show my girlfriend like videos of anime where just food looks really, really good.
Well, because my answer would just be Final Fantasy 15.
Oh yeah,
they have the best looking
really
food
good
in video game. Yeah. It's ridiculous, and they make highly detailed models and new ones at that for like the multiplayer expansion. It's insane.
That's a good answer.
It's just as good as a character model. I mean, that's the first one that comes to mind. I'll think of other more or less easy answers.
I don't know.
Me neither.
I have to think. I mean,
are there certain entertainment properties that make you like a certain food more? Like Ninja Turtles make me love pizza. I love pizza, dude. So like that's one. Is there something like that for you guys?
I can't think. I don't know why. I at one point I found the food in Minecraft to be particularly appetizing. I don't know why.
Square steaks.
Like I could imagine eating
the rotten meat.
Sounds great.
I ate the shit out of some Twinkies when the fucking Stay Puft Marshmallow Man came out during Ghostbusters. I guess you could say that IP caused me to. I had never tasted one in my life, and everybody was like, "Oh, this Marshmallow Man has to do with this company," and I was like, "I'll check it out."
I have a friend who tries to tell me he's never had a Twinkie in his life. What kind of fucking lie is that?
No, I know people who haven't at all. I mean, the idea of a Twinkie, when you tell somebody it's whipped sugared lard inside of a very poor bread, most people will be like, why would you ever eat that? You just have to catch people before somebody explains to them what's in it, and then they'll be fine. But
I'm sorry, but even if you tell me that,
You're still trying it?
I look at it, I'm like, yeah, I'm still trying it, dude. Because when you look at it, you're like,
delicious, spongy, golden bread.
I want that sponge in my body, bro.
Yeah, so, exactly.
Unfortunately, we don't have Twinkies in Australia. And
that's a fortunate thing, bro. They're not good for you.
No, they're awful. There's nothing about them that's even,
so
like, they're anti-good. They're
golden sponge cake with creamy filling.
Yeah, and it's just all it is whipped lard inside. It's like mayonnaise, but it's basically whipped fat, and then it's sugared, and that's all that's inside. It's not even whipped cream. If it was whipped cream, it'd be better for you.
Diabetes.
I love that.
It's true though. It's like somebody was like, "Hey, what's worse than whipped cream?" Well, I got this lard over here. Well, sugar that and throw it in there, and then they fry the sponge bready thing. It's not even bread either. It's like the softest muffin
soggy
you've ever had, and then it's so it's we're not doing well on describing how delicious they are, but they are delicious.
Terrible. One.
I mean, it's like fast food. Like people are like, look how. Okay. I'm sorry. If there are people out there who think fast food's absolutely disgusting, I respect that. But for me, like, I know well and clear all the awful shit that happens at McDonald's and what they do to make their food. But their chicken nuggets are amazing. I love their chicken nuggets.
Dude, I would kill some chickens just to be back there and get some chicken nuggets right now. I'm hungry. I like those things. Yeah.
You know, it's just, I don't know what it is. There are certain things in life that it's like, I know what happened here. Yeah. I'm going to eat this anyway.
Yeah. I remember last time I went to America, I went and had some In-N-Out. Like, In-N-Out burgers are fucking awesome. I don't know why. I like Taco Bell.
Made me feel sick. I ate an In-N-Out burger once. I was in San Francisco for I was testing Far Cry 4, and before that I went to In-N-Out and like I took a couple of bites and I was like, dude, I think I'm about to vomit all over this restaurant. It just hit me the wrong way.
That's great.
I mean, have you thought of any foods in games like Fallout? Maybe a little squirrel on a stick, Loney?
Like a Salisbury steak.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't know.
Fallout does have some decent food models,
kind of.
You know, I don't know. I mean, the little boxes of sugar bombs.
You know what I need?
I'd love some sugar bombs.
Yeah,
Nuka-Cola.
I never understood what sugar bombs
Nuka-Cola.
were.
Sugar bombs were the cereal,
yeah,
right?
but Nuka-Cola is just pretty much. I think of Coca-Cola. Although I will say,
I'm saying that's the what I would like to try that. That's
okay.
Because anything else in Fallout makes me think eradicated spam, and I'm not 100% sure I want to eat that.
There's a viewer who was kind enough to bring me Nuka-Cola as a gift when I met him at PAX. It was so awesome, and I tried it, dude. It was like this blueberry flavored one. It was so good.
That's very.
I was gonna save it too. It was called Quantum. It was Nuka-Cola Quantum, but oh my god, man, that thing was delicious.
You know what I will say? I mean,
I wish I had that viewer's name.
Always wondered what it'd be like for us to eat a rare candy from Pokemon. Like, do we level up too?
All right, yeah, that's a good one. Do I actually level up?
Get a little bit stronger? Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know. Games for me have never really been known for food. Like,
exactly.
I always say it's always anime. Anime food is just always good. The sounds they make, how it looks. Like,
yeah, the little hot. Yeah, all the time. My friends and I fucking. My friend calls it the anime bite, and that like when he eats his food and he really likes it, he fucking does that now because he thinks it's the funniest shit.
And you know what it is too? It's because usually, you know, animes are set in Japan or some sort of Asian country, and it's always the sound of the bowl and the chopsticks hitting them. You always hear that. It's like,
yeah,
it's great.
It's something about anime, man. They make food delicious.
Just want to go to Japan.
Dude, I've always wanted to go to Japan. I wish. I want to go next year, but dude, that's expensive.
My girlfriend's like, you know, we need to go to Japan when it's cherry blossom season because apparently it's fucking gorgeous.
It is.
And like Japan's got like,
is that?
What's it called? I think it's Akihabara. It's like a gaming district in Japan. And you go there and you find like old, like Kotaku writes about it all the time. You find
Sega GameWorks has a huge place there. And
you just got old retro stuff.
You can go there in Persona 5.
Can you actually? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they have that there. It's really cool. I mean, obviously, I've seen pictures of Persona 5 and then that area side by side, and I mean, they are pretty close. Like, they do a very good job with it. Obviously, when you're there, it's completely different.
I've
probably
always
more exciting.
there.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't know that's what that district was known for, though. So that's definitely intriguing. Oh, I wish I could go to fucking Japan. Oh no! I think I just busted my pen, bro. Fuck.
We're having issues.
Okay, there we go. We're good. No, we're good. I was afraid I couldn't write down timestamps. I had to sprint out of the room. All right. Next question comes from Real Breather. What franchise would you like to see taken over by a different studio? His suggestion was, and this is a really good one, Metal Gear going to Arcane.
That'd be interesting.
Oh.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I don't know if that'd be good, but that was his idea, like as an example. If the Ninja Turtles went to Rocksteady, I say that a lot. So that's a cheap answer.
I've always said, well, this is my cheap answer. It would be Fallout to 4A games. I think they'd make an awesome 4A game. Yeah.
I wouldn't say that's cheap. I wouldn't. That's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
Because they make good atmosphere. They're good storytellers, but are they good role-playing game developers? That would be really interesting to see.
That would just have they've never really made one. You know, I always say, like, for a developer that hasn't done a particular genre, if you give them a chance, who knows what could happen? You could get something fucking awesome.
Horizon.
Yeah, there are tons of examples.
I remember I called that game. I was like, it's gonna flop.
It's gonna suck.
Said it for so long. I was so hard on that game flopping, and it wouldn't do it. I was like, all right, foot in mouth. I like it. It's good.
What else?
What others? I'm gonna think of like game series I like and are in a good state, and if I were to flip them on their head, where would I send them? Honestly, he brought up Arcane. Maybe sending Deus Ex to Arcane would be.
That's a great answer. Fuck.
I think that'd be a good. I think actually, Harvey Smith, who like directs the Dishonored games, I think he worked on Deus Ex if I remember correctly. So that would be a good fit. Who makes platforming games?
Nintendo.
Sly Cooper to Nintendo.
Okay.
I'm gonna be bold. I'm gonna say Sly Cooper to Nintendo. Someone's got to resurrect this shit.
That's a really good answer.
And PlayStation's leaving that shit dormant. That's like one of my favorite PlayStation franchises. Third favorite game of all time is Sly 2, and they're just fourth, and they're just leaving my boys in the dust. Like, just disappointing.
Yeah. I'm gonna say something, but I don't know. So, which Ubisoft team makes Far Cry? It's one of them. It's like one of the 10, 20 that they have.
I just say all of them because every time the credits roll, there's like 40 different studios involved. You're like, okay, it's a collaborative effort here. Yeah. Nice.
I mean, would Borderlands made by those studios be cool?
Or would a Far Cry, being made by them be cool?
Yeah, the other way around.
Far Cry by Gearbox.
Flip 'em would be more interesting to me, actually, to see a Far Cry be taken on by Stalker devs or Metro devs or something like that.
Oh, it's pretty good.
Oh, that would be interesting. The thing is with all of these is, number one, we've talked about them thousands of times. Not to diss on his question, because that's a good question.
No.
And it makes you think outside the box. But at the same time, also, it's hard not to think of good games that you would switch. Because if you start thinking about bad games, a lot of times we don't think about bad games. You sort of remove those from your mind. So I'm having a hard time thinking of games that did poorly and why I would want them switched. And for example, for me, it would be Piranha Bytes being taken on by Obsidian, for example, because or for even Bethesda, because Piranha Bytes can't apparently afford for any kind of QA. So if they had Gothic or Technomancer, or not Technomancer, it wasn't made by them, but I would love that game too, or Elix, and then Bethesda gave them the money and had somebody on their team doing it, what could happen? Because a lot of those B games I like, but you can tell they're not AAA financed in that way.
Yeah.
So a bad game that could be fixed, or a series.
I don't like to play bad games. I look at reviews and
no, I mean I get it. Yeah, I mean we don't like to remember them. No.
Next year we're seeing a couple of those. I mean these aren't really bad examples per se, but we're seeing those kind of match made in heaven, like a Spider-Man Insomniac. I feel is a good one. Arc System and Dragon Ball Z, like the art styles that Arc System's always done, and Dragon Ball Fighters. It's like,
dude, Fighter looks so good. It looks so good.
I would rather have seen Recore from Microsoft be taken by somebody else. I think that game could have been awesome.
It had potential, didn't it?
It had a lot.
How about here's one I thought was disappointing this year is The Evil Within, sending that to the people who made Resident Evil. because Resident Evil did have its third person shtick
yeah,
before
I was gonna
7.
say that. Like the first Evil Within, have that be made by them. Because I didn't like it.
I guess it would kind of be just Resident Evil with a different name in many ways, but it's just that. Yeah, I thought Resident Evil 7 had it all. It had a great story. I thought it had really good gameplay, and it had that replayability. And it's like, I love to see. I mean, the Evil Within 2 had replayability, but its story really wasn't good, and its gameplay, it just didn't know what genre it wanted to be.
Sucked.
Yeah.
Well,
Here's a question.
not the game. I just mean parts of it suck.
Because I'm playing it right now, and because the developer doesn't exist anymore, Team Bondi. What about LA Noire? Where should that go? It's such an interesting game. I'm loving it.
It's one of my favorite games of all time. So it's like
Awesome.
old BioWare. The problem is there is no new BioWare that I would trust, and that technology's gone. It's defunct. It won't ever be used again. So it's like really what you're looking at is a Rockstar game, so they could take it on. Like my assumption is we are going to see an LA Noire 2. That's my assumption. It still is, but I would assume it's from them. I think Team Bondi itself is already replaced. Like, I mean,
they don't even.
There and there were bad things going on there, and there was a ton of problems and
A lot of stories.
It's a unique game. Have you played Bully?
No, I
can't remember.
No. I keep hearing good things about it.
Oh man, dude. Yeah. So there's another one. Yeah. That'd be cool to see.
Bully is one I'd love to see picked up, but I want Rockstar to do it because they have no regard or care for, I guess,
time and money.
What the public thinks.
Yeah.
On certain things that I'm sure would be touchy subjects in a Bully game. Where back then it was kind of like, people were like, oh yeah, it's like your typical Bully. It's you could see the joke in it, but nowadays you know how society works, where you'd need a Rockstar company who's just not going to bend. They're going to go, we're making this game. GTA 5, remember there was like lawsuits. There were actresses and actors getting pissed off, thinking like their representation in that game was offensive, and Rockstar just like, you're in the game. Sorry. It's not you.
I like that idea.
It's called fair use.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they don't care. So it's like,
okay, I will say,
because they know it's going to sell.
I want to take a game away from Rockstar because they're never going to do it again. Get Midnight Club and have it be done by the Forza Horizon devs.
Yo, that's a good one.
Because Rockstar, they're never going to do another Midnight Club. You know it. Like, for one, they haven't released a game aside from GTA for like, what is it, Matty? 4 years? You uploaded that picture on Twitter.
It's
been 5 now.
4.
So 5 years.
Been 5? I think it's been 5.
Well, they re-released GTA 5 in 2014. I don't count that. I'm sorry.
No, you don't.
It's just
so, and then obviously it's Red Dead next. I mean, when are they ever going to be doing another Midnight Club? And then people also want Bully. Like, it's never going to happen. So just give that away.
Yeah. See, Rockstar has an issue that Bethesda has as well, or Bethesda Game Studios, where if they expand to another IP, then you're going to have Elder Scrolls, Fallout, and whatever this new one is, and it's like Rockstar has that problem right now, and you can see what happens when you get to that problem. Like they because those games were so good because they took their time with it, they put the effort in, they tested a lot of things, and they got it just right. And it's like those aren't projects you can just fling off to other developers. And it's like the same thing is gonna probably happen with Bethesda. The only difference is I wouldn't say they're as top tier as a Rockstar or as highly regarded, because Rockstar just has a fantastic reputation in the terms of the content they create. But yeah, that's what I'm afraid of for the future, man.
Rockstar's a little bit like the Nintendo of game development companies, where they don't care and they don't really do what we expect. Because honestly, I would have expected them to do, if GTA 5 is doing as well as it is online, I would have already expected Red Dead 2 to be out and to be microtransaction to hell. I would expect them to do 5 games. Like if you make $1 billion, would you not want to make 5 billion and do 5 of them? But they don't, which is odd. Sometimes you have to wonder, where's all that money going? Because they're making so much money that those,
right in the pocket.
Yeah,
dude,
you know where it's going, right?
It's exactly like Steam with Half-Life, or Valve, I should say, with Half-Life. Like they're making so much money in other shit that like they have no reason to make another Half-Life. So like, who would be another good Half-Life dev?
Would you say that? Not to go off topic. Would you say the same? Because I just had a discussion on my channel about this, so I have to ask before we go to Half-Life. Would that same logic apply to Fallout? it made $750 million and its launch window like 24 hours. So obviously it's sitting well over $1 billion at this point.
Fallout 4.
Would you say Fallout 4? Would you say Fallout? They're like, okay, we don't need to do Fallout for a while. It made us a ton of money.
And I would say that the reason why it sold so well really quickly is because we hadn't had a Fallout for years. Like, I don't think it would have that same effect if we had a Fallout game every 2 years. As cool as that would be. I mean, the reason why Fallout 4 was so hyped is because people were looking for news for so fucking long. We hadn't had a Fallout game for like, what was it, 4-5 years since Fallout New Vegas? I think New Vegas is 2011.
4 years.
Yeah, so that's a long time. Like, we've done 4 years. Like, that was my university degree. Almost.
Right. But what Matty's saying is, regardless, even if they did 2 games day after each other, what he's asking, and I don't really know the answer for, is their success? Is the idea that maybe Bethesda themselves are like, okay, Fallout 4 money's here, let's just move on to something else. Like, are we pushing out another Fallout even farther, or are we going to see them go with a space one? That's what my thought was that it was like going to be Fallout 4. I didn't know it did that well. That's beyond spectacular. That's just stupid.
Best performing game.
Beat out Call of Duty.
Stupid amount of money. So I guess I just assume sometimes that artists do drive it. So the artists want to work on something and people make decisions around that.
Yeah.
I mean, artists, designers and stuff. But in a Rockstar, it's probably different, because I bet you people at the top probably make the major decisions there. And then also, I wonder if they do, like, if we were all working on Fallout and we do this well, a space game could be fun. And so to me, like, the idea of them jumping to a space game makes more sense than a Fallout 5.
Absolutely.
But then I didn't know Fallout 4 did that well, so I have to rethink all that, because that's a stupid amount of money.
Where does Elder Scrolls fit into it? Like, the problem with BGS is, it's not a problem. Mind you, is probably the wrong word, but like, they've got 2 really well-performing IPs, and they were just there thinking, look, there's probably some people there that worked on fucking 3 or 4, whatever it is, Elder Scrolls games, and then 2 Fallout games. They're like, I just want to do something different. And the problem is when that studio does something different, no one's doing Fallout or Elder Scrolls. And I suspect this is why they expanded to BGS Montreal. So eventually that they would do, the next Fallout, or maybe like a New Vegas 2 or whatever it's called. Because that main BGS studio has been doing the same stuff for so long that creatively they were just drained, and they just wanted to branch their wings and do a space game.
No, I agree. I mean, we know that they're doing Elder Scrolls 6. They already said, we're doing it. It's just a matter of when we have the tech. So
finish your university degree and then it'll be out.
Yeah, I'm not even kidding, ladies and gentlemen. Most of you are going to be in a completely different spot in life in general by the time Bethesda drops Elder Scrolls 6. Like, I will probably be off on my own or married or something by the time they drop Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume at minimum 5, probably 4 or 5 years. If they're still saying they want the tech, then you're talking, 3 years after that when they choose what tech they want. And if they're saying we want the tech and they're not happy with what we have now, that means you have to wait till the tech becomes available. Volta is and NVIDIA's next, and that's not really, I mean, it's a step, but it's not like magically going to make people who want more tech to go, wow. So, you know what I mean? It doesn't change the paradigm or anything. So
the guess, and I'd say it's accurate based off what you can just see from what they've been saying and rumors and just discussions by fans, is like, it's probably going to be 2022.
Jesus.
When you see ES6.
Right. That's a long time.
Well,
but
it'll be 4 years after they release their next game. So, I don't even think their next game is coming out next year. I think it'll be announced next year and might come out in 2019. So 4 years from then is 2023.
Even though Bethesda was so angry and open about no longer announcing things a year away, you think that'll happen?
Yeah, that's
again?
the thing. My other thought, and this is like a tinfoil hat
deal.
thought, is the idea that they're like, yeah, we're not doing Elder Scrolls 6 for a while. All expectations are kind of out the window. People are like, oh, God, like, it's not going to happen. And then they announce it next year. And it's like, surprise, it's actually here now. That.
Well, yeah.
I wouldn't put that by them. I wouldn't say expect that, though.
Here's what I'm going to say. They're making a space game. And in the space game, you have a spaceship. You get to create your little group and stuff like that, fly around. But instead of planets, you're like at the asteroid belt, so that each little asteroid is a little small mini planet so they can fit in like the memory constraints of your console, and it'll be something like that. Because I just don't see them doing a Fallout or an Elder Scrolls before something else. And it would be difficult. Look at the Andromeda devs. They basically stated up front, we fucked up completely on what we thought we could do.
The space.
Remember when they were like, we're going to have
wide open
400 planets and blah, blah, blah. And then pretty soon they're like, we got 8. And you're all, okay, that's odd. So I don't know. I just imagine like flying around in your spaceship with your little crew of AI companions and, like what's that TV show? Firefly. But instead of planets, you're just going to different little asteroids with their own little fucking criminal networks. And Expanse. Have you guys seen Expanse, the TV show?
No.
Oh, very popular TV show based in like hard science. And a little bit more dark, a little bit more gritty on what the future might hold. I would love to see that. Because, Fallout 5, they didn't also stretch their wings in Fallout 4. I don't know about you guys, but I was really surprised it was here again. I was expecting Japan, Russia, instead, it's like, at some point, it's all, okay, we get it.
I think there's
I
no
want
way.
somewhere else.
Yeah, I don't think they go outside the U.S.
No way they'll go outside the U.S.
Why do you guys not think so? Because they're racist?
No, because of that. It's because
Wait, what? I'm so lost on that joke.
Yeah, well, if they're not going to go to other nations, other races, I was just saying, are they racist?
Okay.
Why would they not go? You guys seem really solid on that. You don't think they would,
because Fallout 4 made so many changes that if they went to outside of the US, that's just another thing that fans are going to be pissed off about. And
I thought fans wanted that. Everybody I talked to wants them to leave America. Like, I've never heard anybody not say they didn't want them to leave America. It's like Assassin's Creed, where they wanted them to go to Japan.
Nah,
I just look at it this way. Other games are doing it in other places, and it's not the Fallout universe. Like Metros in Russia, it's like, okay,
sure,
I'm getting my Russia post-apocalyptic fix there. I think it's because Fallout's got a theme. It's always been
colonial America.
It's U.S. patriotism. Yeah. That's all it is.
It's patriotism. It's like pride, even though they're collapsing. That kind of thing.
Hey, how does it sell other nations? By the way, how does Fallout sell in Russia? Do you guys know?
I don't know. I think
that'd be interesting.
I'd imagine
there's a big
$750 million in 24 hours. I'd imagine it sells, decently well.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wasn't aware that people were that invested in it staying here. They're just racists. Just completely. I'm just joking. Anybody? No, that's cool.
Is his Karak serious?
Yeah. You always got to say. You always got to be like, I'm joking, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. Future's what I want. Well, I'm crossing my fingers.
Yeah, we'll see. Great question by Real Breather. And now we will move on to. This is one of the names I said I might screw up. Vargi Blode. I'm going to say that's how you say it. Or Vargiblode. Once again, I do apologize, but I can't pronounce your name. What game will flop in its 2018 release?
It's a really good question. I'm pulling up the list right now, so I can pull out some examples.
Well, here's the thing: is a flop is definitely for a lot of fans. I'd say a game you're excited about too. That's the sad part about gaming every year that no one thinks about. It's like all these games we're excited about, and one of them is going to fucking fail.
Oh, okay. I got a good one.
Crackdown 3 for me, but I don't think I think it's done. But if it were to release in 2019, I assume it.
Oh, you
fail.
think they're going to cancel it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that well, there'll be some data coming out on it. We'll see what form it comes in. But if for example it was fully fledged and out in 2019, I think it would fail utterly. I think Agents of Mayhem showed that a location and a couple different things can't really buy off on that Crackdown Saints Row kind of thing. You have to actually have a good game, and what they've shown has been pretty fucking terrible. So, not to be rude, but it really has been unimpressive.
I can't say I'm too excited. I always think of that alpha test that they showed with how they used the cloud servers for destruction and multiplayer. And then, I look at it now and it looks completely different.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, for sure.
Completely different.
I'm gonna.
You got some games for us?
I got some, and I want to leave one of them to you, Manny, because I think you have a lot to say about it. But I will say, I don't think Darksiders 3 is going to be good. Just something about the gameplay that I've seen so far.
Is that coming out next year?
Apparently, yeah, it's on this list. It just, yeah, and I really like Darksiders 1.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've never been big on that series.
Yeah, it just because it's new dev and it's kind of like a reboot, I guess. But yeah, it looks different, and I'm not too confident in it. And also as well, here's another one: Shenmue 3 or however you pronounce that game. I've not been impressed as to what I've seen so far at all.
And you know what? I respect that. And I was thinking that the other day because I was watching Shenmue 1 gameplay, and I was in awe that it was on a Dreamcast. This game was so far ahead of its time, and the same was said for 2. So far ahead of its time. It's like with 3, I don't think it's going to have that same effect.
Yeah.
Because both those games, the reason they developed such a cult following, they were way ahead of where gaming was going. And I think with 3, it's not going to have that impact because we're going to see where gaming is at with this game. That's just an assumption. Like you said, too, it's like it just kind of looks a little funky.
Well, it looks like choppy. Instead of trying to, as you said, we're going to produce what gaming is going to be like in 2-3 years, whatever it is. It's like they've kind of said, well, we're going to try and stick to what Shenmue's always been about. And because of that,
would be good.
Yeah, and because of that, they're not really trying to push the boundaries. It just, from what I've seen, like they released a trailer that didn't have the facial animations. I mean, what?
Oh god, yeah, that was a bad call.
I didn't even know that was possible. Like it was like, how do you not have facial animations? Anyway, yeah, I'm not too confident on that.
No, I am right there with you in feeling a little bit of concern. I do have my concerns, but I believe in them because it got kickstarted. You know, you can see the passion there. Hopefully, Sony will slide them a bill or two if they need it. But yeah, I agree with you.
And then I think my final answer, I don't know. I really want this to do well, and I can't remember the name of it now. I'm trying to find it. What was that? Biomutant. That's the one.
Yeah.
It looks like it's like such a cool idea.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking I could imagine myself really liking this game, but I just don't. I have no idea whether this is going to be a good game or not. Whether it's just going to flop. Yeah.
I think for me the difficulty, we actually just had this conversation in a different place where all of the games we just discussed, almost all of them, I think are going to be delayed, and by a good amount. And so it's hard to think of 2018 as any of or many of the games we just mentioned because I don't think they're going to be out. Shenmue, it's not coming out in 2018. Sorry, it's not. It's not. It's not even ready. They didn't. And guess what? You wouldn't want it to really.
No.
I would rather have a crappy game that they put all their money and time into and it still didn't work than a game that they're like, no, we knew it was crappy, so we're just giving you half of a game or whatever. But that one, Days Gone, was supposed to be 2018, and it looks quite boring, and I would assume that'll go back to 2019. A lot of these games that are really exciting, like Darksiders, no way. I don't think that's coming out in 2018. But
yeah, the demo looked a little bit choppy. Yeah.
Didn't it? And it was like, oh, hey, we got a game, and you're all, wait, what? I mean, it was pretty quick. It was like, hey, here's this, here's this. But yeah, that's the thing that sucks is a lot of them are going to be delayed.
I look at it as usually the games that flop are the ones that we expect to be good. So are there any games you're looking at, you're really excited, you're like, there is a chance? No. And we're not talking financially. We're talking expectations.
That is just not
for
good.
me, like, my biggest fear, and one I could see happen, is actually, I don't know what you think I'm going to say. I was going to say Spider-Man PS4.
Oh, okay.
Like, financially, that game will do just fine. It's Spider-Man, and it's got so much attention. But it's just that every Spider-Man game falls into the same horrid loop in the open world, and I'm very afraid to see where this one lands. I trust in Insomniac. They make excellent gameplay systems, but I'm hoping they, innovate and try to lead superhero games somewhere. But I will admit, it's not like shaky confidence or anything. They've proven themselves to me so many times. It's just that I'm nervous. Like, that's the one that's going to flop. Because there's a lot of hype riding that game, but also there's a lot that could go wrong with it.
Yeah.
A lot.
So I thought you were going to say this other game that I genuinely am really excited for, but I don't think it's going to flop because I think 4A Games has their shit together. But Metro Exodus...
Oh, no way.
Yeah, like...
No way it flops.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
No
way. Right? I mean, they're such a capable developer that I have all the confidence in the world that this is going to be a solid game, you know?
And they're not really doing what some of the other people we're talking about are doing with like an open world. Their systems are a little bit more...
It's very
different,
it's like...
It's and I think they just do one thing and they do it really well, and so the chances of seeing that failure. But I will agree actually with Matty that is my answer as well about Insomniac. I actually just talked about it. Yeah, it's not only that; it's that we saw some video just recently of the gameplay, and I'm sorry, it was incredibly rote. It was like in no way, shape, or form did that actually do anything other than remove confidence in what they were doing. And that makes me really nervous because I actually liked some of their games that other people didn't like. Maddie liked the Xbox one. What was that?
Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah, and I actually somewhat enjoyed, I think it was Haze. Didn't they make, or they made a shooter.
Fuse or Fusion or...
I can't remember.
Like that. Are you talking about that third-person
and it had
shooter
four
that was like
people?
4-player? Yeah, okay.
It wasn't
Fuse,
it wasn't perfect
called.
or anything. I'm just saying I liked some of the ideas behind it, but it wasn't... I've seen them miss. You know, they can. And
Absolutely.
I think you're right. Spider-Man has the same problem Batman could have, which is where it gets mired in the loop, but Batman does a good job of saying, here's a new bad guy, here's the Penguin. Spider-Man, if we all sat there and talked about guys villains in Spider-Man, let's say, really true foils in Spider-Man, they're not as robust as Batman's. I don't think people would, and especially not in the Gotham, because the city's not the same style. It's not the same, everything's scary and dangerous. It's more like everything's pretty cool, and then these bad guys pop up. And so I'm sort of worried that it's just going to be why, just parry, Assassin's Creed style, and then you go to the next place, and that's it. And that's what really, or it's just a bunch of random criminals. It's like,
I think
this guy's stealing groceries.
I think where they can really separate themselves is the gadgets. Peter Parker's gadgets have never been explored properly
that's true.
in really movies or games, and if they make really good use of it,
grenades,
where like stealth becomes more than just webbing the guy up on the high thing, like you said, some types of grenades, shock webs. I mean, Homecoming kind of explored some of that with like his multiple modes on his suit. That was really, really eye-opening. I was like, okay, like I look at this and think to myself,
really liked
Spider-Man PS4, take some notes.
That's a good point.
This could be awesome.
Yeah.
So, it's about the gadgets, in my opinion. If they make use of the gadgets, and I'm not going to put my hope in that, or expect that. I'm just saying that if I were I'm not a game developer, so I'm not saying I know what the fuck I'm talking about, but if I were like directing this game or thinking of ideas on how to make Spider-Man's gameplay stand out, I'd say, look, yeah, we're going to have that free flow combat. You can already see right now there's environment interaction because of his webs. That's awesome. That's enough to get, I'd say, the hand-to-hand done. But what needs to really separate it is how he uses his gadgets in combat and in stealth sequences. Because with Batman, everything is a multi-tool. That gel that they make the bat symbol
you can
with,
use it in like
walls.
20 different ways.
But but you can also use it as like a dodge and put it on the floor and stun enemies around you and blow it up in combat. And it counts as the hit combo multiplier, which keeps people going in those challenge rooms and stuff. So, yeah, like I said, if I personally, and this is because I read a lot of comics for Spider-Man, but I think there's a lot of villains that they could go to in the Spider-Man universe.
Who do you really like? Like, let's say I said you're in charge.
I should say this more so, is that they have elements of certain villains that have been explored before that they could dive a little bit deeper on. Like Sandman, he does not have a good past. He does not have a good upbringing. He is in a way like one of those guys that he's one of those villains you almost want to root for. Same thing could be said for what they did in Homecoming with the Vulture. I think they did a really good job humanizing him and making him a good villain. So I don't have like a B tier villain I can think of. I mean, there have been ones in comics like Silk who kind of become a Peter Parker love interest, but it just won't work out, and it's not very typical. It's like they have this chemical attraction to each other, not because they like each other, but because of the shared genes they have and stuff. If that makes any sense.
It does. That's cool.
You know, stuff like that could be interesting. At least that's what just comes to mind. Like, where if they just go that what I'm saying is when I look at Spider-Man PS4, I feel like if they go that extra layer deeper, I think we can see a lot of good things for this game. But if they stay base level, they just try to copy Batman Arkham, and that's really it, and it's not going to be what fans want.
Or Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh God, please don't bring that up. Oh,
dude, and
that game was. That is one game I will say is just truly awful.
It is truly awful.
So bad. that what is the name of the system the crime system they have?
Oh my!
Where
I've
if
never
you don't
been madder.
do side quest, yes, I remember. That's like one time. I usually don't waste my time because I'm like, fuck it, they're not going to see it. But I was like, I'm desperate here. I tweeted at the developer. I'm like, please remove this system from the game entirely. Because like, Lone, they'll have you like save a building on fire, save a civilian, like these menial, shitty side tasks. And if you don't do them, this like 5-star rating goes up, and because you're not doing your job, cops will come and start fucking shooting at you when you're web
It's
swinging.
literally the reverse of a
GTA
like renown system, where instead of doing stuff to be bad, if you don't, and they're far away. Remember, Matty? Like you'd finish a quest and they're like, swing to the other side of the city in 1 minute and save like 14 orphans. And fuck the orphans, man. And if you do, then the game hammers the shit out of you. It's the dumbest system.
Yeah, it's awful, bro.
You need to play it now.
You have to try it because it's that bad. It's like, who sat down and said, this is something we should keep. This is a good idea.
Essentially, the game punishes you for not wanting to do the side quests that no one likes to do.
Exactly. Yeah. And they're dude, to say they're menial, I can't even describe to you how bad they are. Like, somebody like not paying for their taxi ride or whatever, and you have to like leap onto the taxi and pull them out. And it leaves such a bad taste in your mouth, man. It is really an odd design decision.
It's amazing because the first Amazing Spider-Man game, I actually thought was good. I enjoyed it.
I think the first one was considered good too. Was it?
Yeah, like most people were like, all right, it's got its flaws, but this is a solid Spider-Man game. But like the second one, you could just see it reeked of burnout. It was like, give us something new to work on, please. And thank God they are not working on the franchise anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, next question comes from, hold on, let me write down this timestamp. J. Melbourne 97. Is there a well-loved game or franchise that you dislike, and why?
Fuck. Should have thought about this.
I have an answer, but I've been talking so much that I'm going to shut up for a little bit. So, take the wheel.
That's yawn. No, I don't yawn.
Yeah, right?
I have to search some of these. You know what the problem is that there's been so many games and there could be so many examples that it's hard to think of all of them. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Oh, come on. Something you like that.
No, something
or
everyone
don't
else
like.
likes that. Yeah.
You're just following the trends, bro. You're just all about, what everyone likes.
Such a casual. I'm such a casual. I don't know.
I have an answer, but I've been talking
no,
much.
Say your answer.
Karak, you got one?
Otherwise, it's going to be quiet.
Karak, you got one?
Prior to me finally loving the game, I mean, I would distinctly say Fallout 3 was the last time I remember disliking something so immensely and everybody else liking it, not being able to understand what world I was on. That it just, the starting is terrible. But once I played that, there isn't a lot of games that I dislike, or even there'll be games I don't find as fun. Honestly, the Mario games up until Odyssey, and each Mario gets released and people freak, but the Galaxy titles they didn't grab me at all, or anywhere near as much as like Odyssey did. And I know those are fairly popular.
You could go with that. It doesn't have to be one you just distinctly hate or don't like. It could just be one you're like, it's all right, I guess, but everyone freaks out. All right, let's hear it.
It's games like Resident Evil, and I'll say Resident Evil, people fucking like even Resident Evil 7 was nominated for tons of awards this year, and I thought it was all right, but like I just don't think I'm
You're
personally
a hater.
I don't think I'm into those horror games. I don't, and it's not about it being scary. Like I like jump scares; they're fun as fuck. But it's that kind of medial. You always feel like you're out of ammo. You know, you never have enough supplies. Some people love that and find that challenging and great. I just find that really monotonous,
Tedious. Yeah.
tedious. Like fuck, I'm fighting this boss and I've run out of ammo again. Like, oh my god, I have to go back and reload an old save and make sure I loot properly. Like, that's never been fun to me. Like, and I can appreciate it's a good game, absolutely. And I even said it was like midpoint in 2017 that I said it was probably one of the top games that I've played, but I hadn't played that many anyways. But like, I've never just been drawn to those games like other people have to say, oh, this is just so amazing. It's and even within, I kind of felt the same way, even though even within Resident Evil don't even compare in my opinion. But yeah, those games are kind of just, they keep poking you and saying you need more ammo, you need to loot, we're going to fuck you up with these bosses. I'm thinking, I just want to have fun with my games.
I understand that. For me, okay, there's one answer I've said before, so I'll just quickly say it's definitely like Uncharted style games, like Uncharted, obviously, but like Tomb Raider, I just can't. It's just so something about it. It's so, I can never even find the word to describe why I don't enjoy them, but I don't. I've played Uncharted 1, 2, Tomb Raider 1. Tomb Raider 1 I thought was so average, and I remember like after I played it, I'm like, okay, like this definitely was a game that most critics are going to say was average. And I just see 9s and 10s. I'm like, what? Couldn't believe it. But, you know, different opinions.
Yeah.
Same thing with Uncharted. I mean, those games get praised up the wazoo. I'd say aside from Lost Legacy, I think it was called, where that one didn't get high praise because I think it was pretty buggy. But, I mean, Uncharted 1 through 4, people adore. And I'm just like, yeah, it's okay. You know, I don't really see the appeal in it. It seems like a standard action adventure game to me, really. As for a actual answer I haven't said, I guess RNG style games. I can't. Like, okay, I bought
Darkest
Escapist
Dungeon
2 on sale.
Those kind.
Like, okay, Escapist 2, I bought that on sale, and, like, I was loving it, and then I found out, like, all the certain times you need to craft something to get your escape done, and you could only find it in desks, and if those desks did not generate those items, you'd have to wait till the next day for them to respawn or buy them from stores, and for me, instantly, a switch in my brain was like, I don't like this game as much anymore, and I stopped playing it. It's just stuff like that. And what was the example you just said?
Darkest Dungeon, which is I really like it, but it's heavy RNG.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's one that, you know, in those types of difficult games, I'm not a big fan of RNG because I love the challenge, but when I'm getting hit with something that might be a little bit more difficult for something of my level, and someone might be getting an ideal experience for their level because, you know, they obviously gauge it where they're like, okay, this is going to be generated for like, they have like all those different settings and stuff that make it what the game is. Sorry, I hit the mic. And so some of them will end up being easier.
Right.
And those are the ones that are good because, you know, in Darkest Dungeon, like you'll have those loops of endless dungeons where like you're constantly putting players in the, or your party members in like the church, in the brothel, trying to treat them, trying to get them better, spending all this money that you just earned, treating them only to go in another dungeon. That B team gets hurt, and you gotta do the same thing over and over and over and over and over. And it's like, it's because the RNG, it gets so challenging. I'll admit I'm not the best Darkest Dungeons player, but you know, just RNG style games. I don't roguelite, you know, like Rogue Legacy. I don't get the appeal in not knowing what's coming and instead just learning, or not even learning. I like for example, Dark Souls, you learn the boss, you learn his mechanics, you learn the area, but like with roguelite, you know, where the dungeon changes every time you die, it's like, I just don't like that.
I do like
Personally.
that Darkest Dungeon thought that the cure for mental illness was having your characters go fuck people. I just want to say,
Yeah.
thumbs
the
up to the
brothel.
devs. But yeah, no, dude, our RNG is one thing, but what you just hit on something that I have the same issue with, which is I don't mind the randomness in one or two elements, but when the dungeon also becomes random, it actually breaks me out of the game a little bit because I'm like, why? Why is it random? I don't understand. Why is it random if I just went in there 5 minutes ago? You can randomize the enemies. How did they get there? But are you saying that an architect is just randomly in there, magically changing everything? Like at some point, and I know people be like, well, that's taking it too serious. It absolutely is. But what I'm saying is it breaks me out of it in the same way you do, because or what you're talking about, because I get that like the door or the desk may not have the item and that I have to wait a day. But if there's other random elements as well, any others, they become too random and the world doesn't even feel like a world anymore because a real world wouldn't be that random, you know? And so at some point you're just like, come the fuck on, really? You know,
Yeah.
So Darkest Dungeon was like
That's
that.
the thing.
sometimes.
Because, like, what we needed to escape this prison was just one thing of tubing. My friends and I were playing. It's up to 4-player co-op, and the escape is you just need one thing of tubing to get out of there because we had to make a breather mask to hide in some trash, and they would have taken us out, and we would have escaped. Really cool concept. I like the game a lot in many ways, but like I said, we needed this one tubing.
Right.
And we just had to wait day after day after
Oh,
day.
dude. Yeah.
It's like, you know... Because at first it's fun, you know, you go to your exercise time, your shower time, you got free time, job time. It's a fun game with a unique concept, and then something like that happens because, you know, you're looking for, you got your escape plan because they'll give you escape tips on little billboards, and you'll know exactly what you got to do and what you need to get. So it's not like the game hides anything from you. I mean, you do have to learn it. There is a little bit of a learning curve in the beginning.
Right.
But... you know, like, you know exactly what you need to escape at that point. And especially we've been playing this a decent amount, so it wasn't like we were fresh in to this experience. And like I said, you know, just we were going day after day through our normal schedule, trying to find this tubing and desks during breaks and everything. And obviously, once we go through all the desks in the location, we're like, okay, it's not here. We got to wait till nighttime, sleep, and then get up again and check the desks in the morning and hope that they're there. And it's frustrating. It really is frustrating. And that's why I don't get RNG in some ways, because that's a game that it's a lot of crafting. It's like, why can't I craft everything?
Yeah, right. Why
craft
can't I
a
craft the rubber tubing? Right.
Exactly. Like, because that would instantly remove the problem. Just have base components in everyone's desks, base components that you can buy at a certain store. Because there are, like, prisoners who steal objects and then resell them, and you take the coins you earn from jobs and stuff, and that's how you... buy stuff from them, so it would make sense to have like certain component stores so you could just build up from there. That way the game is not almost cheating you where it's like I could escape 3 days ago in game, but now I have to wait. It's like that type of stuff just frustrates me to no end, and I don't get why people gravitate towards those games all too much. That's just me though. I don't know about you guys. But that is indeed our final question.
Damn.
So,
How we've only been here for like how long have we been here?
About an hour.
almost an hour and a
Hour
half.
and a
Oh,
half,
gotcha.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Time just flies by.
It does.
Yeah,
It
right?
does actually. Like I'll be like, oh man, we've only been doing this for like 20 minutes.
No, dude, this one did fly by though. I'll say. But yeah, those are a good series of questions. I'm very happy with our answers. It was a fun time, boys. For those listening, this will be going up on Sunday, so that's actually going to be... Let me check my calendar. Yep, that's going to be New Year's Eve. So for those listening on the Sunday, we hope you enter the new year safe, happy, content with your surroundings. And once again, I'm going to emphasize safe. Please be safe. It's a very dangerous time of the year to be on the road and stuff.
Be an idiot.
Yeah, and if you're listening afterwards, we hope you have entered and are having a happy 2018.
Yes, indeed.
Do you guys do
been
New
a
Year's
wild
resolutions?
I start whenever
I start whenever
I
the
want.
resolution hits me.
Fair enough.
Yeah, exactly. Like for me, I'll say I'll be honest. Like if I think of something on a Thursday, like okay, I really want to start hitting the gym again. We'll say hypothetically, and I got the schedule planned out. Like I just starting a gym workout on a Thursday, it throws
That's
your whole
awful.
schedule off.
You need to start on
'cause
Monday.
Yeah, exactly, and it's like I don't do it to prolong it because I hate when my friends do it. And they're like, let's just start Monday on this or that. And it's like, no, let's get on it right away. But that's one thing I'll say, like, yeah, I'll wait till Monday for that, because you got to be on that, like, Monday to Friday schedule.
Can I give you
that's how I do it.
Can I give you a piece of advice to try one time?
Go for it.
I would love for you to try this. Find the day that you don't want to go, or that pops into your mind and you're like, yeah, Thursdays are bad. Let's do Mondays, and go on Thursday. One of the reasons why I say that is because hell is pretty much repetition. It's like, it really is like the same shit day. But if you pick and do the hardest thing first, I'm guaranteeing you that you'll go, oh, we did it on Thursday, we can do it on Monday. And there is a very cool discussion that, of all people, Timothy Robbins, I think it's Timothy Robbins, the motivational speaker, talks about, which is, it's something I've talked about before. Like, try to do it at the hardest point, the point you really don't want to, because from that point on, you'll be able to build on that. If you wait for everything to be just right and perfect, which you're not saying, by the way, Matty, I know you're not saying that.
Well, honestly, I am. No, what you're saying, to an extent, yeah, I want to wait till I'm well and fucking ready, right?
And instead,
so what you're saying speaks volumes. It's very true.
Go and try it. And I've had martial artists who've come and said, I want to watch. And I'm like, dude, if you don't roll, you're going to watch forever. If you don't put some gloves on, you will watch forever. Or it will be just different. Jump in sometimes, and there's an electricity that happens in the human brain, human soul, whatever you believe in, where when somebody jumps into something and you're able to look back on it and go, I was actually able to do it on my down day, that you can build on from that point on. Just my 2 cents.
No, I probably needed to hear that, didn't I? You're right.
Just to see.
If I didn't have a holiday party tonight, I'd start right after this.
You should lift. You should dress up as a weightlifter, take the suit off, and just lift while you're there. Be like, sorry, man.
Yeah.
Macho man.
Workout
got your
call.
Macho Man glasses. Oh, yeah. Snap into a Slim Jim.
I mean, do you guys have New Year's resolutions, though?
It's such a, like, you say you have one and then you never follow up on it. But, like, this year,
that's a stigma.
Yeah, it is. Like, towards the end of this year, I was being really good with exercising and going to the gym, and then it was after PAX Oz that I just dropped off, and now I feel so shitty about it. I need to pick that back up. But there are some other things that I can't say, but hopefully it'll happen.
Sex, good for you guys. You guys should. I mean, by the time you get married, you should have had sex at least once. So I hope that happens for you. Whenever anybody says I don't want to talk about it, my brain is like, the only thing I probably won't talk about is sex, like distinct stuff. So I always jump to that. I'm like, he's talking about blowjobs.
I proposed.
Yeah, exactly. Thank God. Yeah, we don't have them either. I mean, yeah, it's just like most people I know might have a goofy one, or they're like, well, my idea is to do this, but usually they've started prior to New Year's. And since I don't drink, I don't go to any parties, or we do ones where everybody's sober, and probably not as fun for people. We don't really sit and talk about like what we plan.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna be that guy tonight. I don't really drink much. I'm just, alcohol doesn't hit me right.
It doesn't
either.
It
never hits me in the exciting, fun, go happy way. It's more of a depressant for me.
Or
it's a
depressant.
depressant. It knocks my ass out. Yeah, I'm just like, fuck this. I want to go home. So for me, I'm bringing board games. A couple of my friends and I, we're all going to just group up and just do that while everyone else is partying and stuff. We're like, fuck it. Why not, right?
That sounds like a blast, dude.
That's the thing, though. But you were like, that party would be boring. I'd be like, dude, invite me to your party, because that's the type of party I want to be at.
Yeah.
Not that I don't want to go to this one, because as you guys can see, but the viewers can't. But like, I'm all dressed up for it. But yeah, it's like, I'm totally with you. Sometimes just drinking isn't the wave for the night.
I think also with our jobs, not YouTube or anything, but I mean with our job, like today, in today's environment, with a cell phone in your hand all the time, with everybody being connected, with all jobs being connected in some way, I think it's hard for me to even think of New Year's as being a special day anymore. Like, most of the stuff I know doesn't even close down anymore. It's just like, no, we'll be open for a shorter period, but we're still going to open because people still need to do shit, because not everybody celebrates this or that. And so it's harder, I think, as we get older, because I know my parents were like, dude, we used to shut down from like Christmas, the day before Christmas Eve, until the 2nd or 3rd of January in many jobs. And now it's like Christmas Eve, you're not even off. Christmas Day, you're off. Boom, you're back on the 26th. And then you might have the day after New Year's Eve off. And that's it.
I've noticed that it's just become a lot more like corporate almost.
It has. At least for us in America. I assume it may not be that way for everyone.
Well, yeah, it sucks. My friend, he worked a 70-hour week up until Christmas Eve, and I'm like, dude, that's just... Yeah, exactly. Like, he was not exaggerating. He worked a ton. Like, I normally hear from him every day. We talk all the time, and like, I barely heard from him that week. I was like, dude, you are working your ass off. Sucks. It's unfair. I feel bad for anyone out there who has to do that type of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Me too.
But yeah, as for New Year's resolutions, my only one, it's only because I only, when I pick, like, okay, this is a change I'm going to make next year, it's like a change I can only wait until the next year to make, like traveling more. Yeah. When it's a holiday season, I think about it, it's like, okay, I can't just get on a fucking plane and travel to where I want to go. But next year, I already have 2 trips planned in the first 2 months. So,
nice.
You know, that's a start.
Are they personal trips, or you're just going to PAX kind of stuff?
No, they're actually, one's for a hocky tournament. One is for a actual personal trip.
That's awesome, man.
Get away with some friends. So that's going to be fun.
Very cool.
Yeah. What about you guys, though? Anything planned for the beginning of 2018, or you just coasting into the married life?
Yeah, exactly. It's game over. You just coasting
life
in.
Is
just
over
like,
now.
Life is over. Sex life is 0. Sex life started at 0. It's just done.
Buddy, my girlfriend just... Well, I could say my girlfriend. My fiance just woke up. She just woke up now. She's looking at me.
You said that at the beginning. I was like, wait, I'm not experienced enough to know, like, that type of shit where you're like, yeah, my girlfriend. I'm like, is he supposed to call her something else?
Yeah, I know. I was like, my fiance. It sounds weird to say now. Yeah, it's just going to be... I got work off until the 8th of Jan, and that's when I'm going back to it. I hope next year's not another repeat of 2017, but it's starting to seem like that. And I'm trying to think what I can do to kind of mix that up. But yeah, next year it just seems like another year, unfortunately, because we do have an engagement party a couple of them to plan. So I guess there's that. I don't think her and I are going to have like a traditional formal wedding because they're like too expensive, and we're trying to save for a house. So we might just elope in Europe or some shit.
There you go.
It's crazy though what he just mentioned, where he said it feels like another year. And my birthday yesterday, I was sitting here and my family was here, and they were like, so
your birthday yesterday?
Yeah, my birthday was yesterday, and they were like,
"Holy shit, man! Happy birthday!"
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, happy birthday.
I thought you guys said happy birthday on Twitter for some reason. I thought you already said that.
I didn't even know.
So
What?
So my wife goes, "Do you want your birthday present?" And I was like, "Yeah, whatever." And she's like, "You don't seem interested." And I was all, "It feels like it's all this. It just feels weird. It feels like 2017.5 instead of 2018. It just feels the same. It just feels weird. It doesn't feel like I'm a year older, or that the date changing is going to change much. And that's not even a negative thing. It's just, I don't know, man. It does. That's exactly how.
I get what you're saying, because I've been feeling, it's weird as fuck. I've been feeling that way too, and it's like, that's why I'm like, okay, I want to make some actual change, because life should be like not a constant high. I think that's not feasible, but like, you know, I've told you, Karak, I've told you, Lone, like stuff I want to change in my life. Yeah. Like I'm looking at other opportunities around me, not just YouTube, because I feel like 2017 was a good year, but like towards the end now, I feel like kind of insane. I'm like, there has been so much sameness in my day-to-day schedule that I just can't take it. It's like I need to change shit. So for me, maybe it's a little more urgent, I guess. But
get married.
That's why I was like, let me go ahead and make some changes on shit, because happiness is key. It's number one. So it's like, go for that.
Because routine, sometimes I like routine, but eventually thinking I just need to change shit up.
Exactly. That's how I felt. It's like every day. It's like,
I think
wake up, do this and that.
You guys should have like escort web pages. I think you should get an escort and then ask her to marry you, like Lone did. And I'll remarry somebody who fucking knows, maybe my wife, maybe somebody else, and we'll do a hangover. We'll go film Hangover. We'll go to Vegas, and trust me, when we leave, you won't be the same.
The international hangover.
So I've heard.
International holiday, yeah. And we'll just do that, man. Yeah, go grab yourself an escort. I'm sure there's escort magazines still there, or websites or something. Yeah, it does. It just feels like the rigmarole. I don't know. I'm not even depressed about it. It doesn't even feel bad because good stuff happened, but it feels weirdly mechanical, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to say, Matty, Beyonce just looked at your suit and was just like, "What is he wearing?"
It's awesome.
Is it a good? What is he wearing?
Do you like it? Looking suave is what she says.
All right, there we go.
It's a good fitting suit, though.
He said before you got on, he was like, "This thing is fucking comfortable."
It actually is a well-fitting suit. Yeah,
dude. And I used to think I didn't get this sized up or anything. I literally ordered this online.
Oh my god, I wish I could get suits like that. I have to get like custom fits to make them fit properly.
Lucky draw. No, that's what I for my actual suit. I had to do that when sadly my grandma passed away. I had to get a suit completely tailored to my body and stuff because I'm fucking tall and long, but also really skinny. So, it's like you got to get that slim type.
You should just be like, "Can I get the Ichabod crane, please?" They'll know it. They'll be like, "What size? Ichabod crane." Okay. I just go in and I just say a really morbidly obese Andre the Giant, and they know exactly what I mean.
Andre the
I haven't
Giant,
wore a
dude,
suit and when I asked my wife to marry me, I said, "Did you still want to get married?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay, that was there we go." And we got married. Like I was pretty blasé about it. When we got married, I didn't even. I think I wore a suit. Yeah, I wore a suit, and then I took it off right away. I wore a suit in the church, and then literally
you probably did like a game dev suit
That's
jacket.
That's exactly
and
what happened. No. You mean like Jurassic Park? What's his name? Who like wears the jacket, but then wears like Levi's? No.
Or like Phil Spencer, he'll have the suit jacket and a Rare T-shirt on or something.
Yeah, right. No. I wasn't.
It's like, I kind of care about how it looks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I sort of tried this morning. No, I wore a full suit for about 15 minutes and then sprinted out of that bitch.
I like how the way you worded it, you're like about 15 minutes. Like you really put in that time in that suit. You're like, fuck.
It was tough, dude. It was tough. I'm not a big fan of suits. I think they look good on everybody. I just don't think they look good on me. And I'm not a fan of wearing them. And our entire reception in the backyard that same day was squirt guns and paintball fights. So it's like, I don't want to wear a suit for that. So I was within like 5 minutes, I was in camo. We're like, let's do it.
I just want to be like, this is legit what we're going to do is going to be on a beach in like Barcelona with a rolled up shirt, undone top buttons and just do it there. It's going to be fucking awesome.
Just have somebody officiate or whatever they call it these days and get it done. Yeah, I would do that if I were you. I mean, that way you can
instead of spending $40,000 on a wedding
and have the $40,000 for a house or,
Exactly.
I just say whatever makes you happy.
Yeah. Well, that too. Yeah, I know people.
Yeah, I mean, if you're like,
big marriage.
Like for me, I don't imagine myself doing an overblown wedding at like a church and shit. Like, I imagine it's something a little more personal like that. So it's like, why not just do that then, right?
Yeah.
Some people just don't like to follow. Yeah. Exactly.
All right.
Okay then. Yeah, that'll wrap it up then. We hope you guys enjoyed episode 139 of the H.A.M Radio Podcast. If you got this far, the hashtag will be
Happy New Year. It has to be
Happy New Year.
Married men.
Yeah. Happy New Year, married men.
Happy New Year, married men. All is one.
Yeah, just all is one. Happy New Year, married men.
I can't wait to see how many people don't spell that correctly. Let's do it.
Oh, dude.
Let's go.
Did you say married men or married men?
Yeah. We'll see what happens.
There's nothing merry about marriage. I'm just saying.
Oh,
I'm just joking, everybody.
Oh, God, Lone. Look what you've done. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in this deep, and we will catch you in next week's episode. Have a happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone. So, yeah.